they have to really see. They've got a big game on Sunday now, semi-final, which takes on even more of importance because Chelsea's, you know, it's about winning trophies. It's about, you know, being a champion, and that they were there for the taking tonight. Real Madrid. After the first 20 minutes, I thought they did okay, Real Madrid, but after that, Chelsea were on top of them, pressed so well. Mason Mount was outstanding. Reece James, Kai Havertz. But Rio's right. It's the details, and when you've got. And that's what they could. That's what ultimately then Real Madrid players can hang on into the game, knowing that they've got Benzema, knowing that they've got Vinicius, and knowing that they've got Modric, where something can happen. It was a mistake by Chelsea, tactical mistake. Vinicius bit of magic, and it's a great header, and the game's won.
Tell you what, these nights are good fun, aren't they?
Yeah, they're good for losing your voice.
All of us are hoarse now. Cheering that one on. In a way. You leave and go, well, OK, there you go. But actually, Chelsea will look at this and go, we were the better side tonight. Look at that, 28 shots.
And you saw by the reaction after the game with the players, sometimes you don't mind it. Losing semi-finals when you're the better team, you walk off and all you think about is, what if we did this? What if somebody scored this chance? What if we did this a bit better? Defended a bit better? And you can totally understand why. There's so many ifs about this game. And they will all revert back to the most important 45 minutes, Stamford Bridge, where they should have been the dominant team, and they allowed Madrid to effectively win this whole tie. And they got into a glorious position today, and we'll look at chances that they missed. Even in injury time, they missed more chances, and it's one that got away, unfortunately, for Chelsea today. All
right, let's do it then, because lots of people will have heard what was going on and tuned in, so they might not have seen all these goals. Let's go through the full story of the night.
Well, Mount got him off to a fabulous start. It was a fantastic finish. Good move. He plays it inside here, and watch, he just runs there, goes inside. I thought Mason Mount first half especially was fabulous. Great pass from Timo Werner off the far, but the finish, Joe said in a commentary before, when the ball's bouncing like that, to hit it with as much conviction as he does and precise, it was beautiful.
It's easily to get they were vibrant, and here, look, this is a great angle on the finish, great finish. Courtois, no chance there.
But it was the energy that Joe just said, that the way they scored that goal was epitomised that first half especially. They was on to Real Madrid, they made it difficult. Every time Real Madrid tried to play out, they had a yellow shirt in front of them, making it really, really difficult. So the tactics that Tuchel put out in the first half was a big difference from the first leg, and he addressed the weaknesses they showed in that first leg.
OK, perfect start, then they built on it.
Set piece, wasn't it? Rudiger. And they bullied Madrid today. I thought through every single set piece they had, they seemed to get their head to it before any white shirt.
Look, the frustrating thing, Mac, was this is a great header, and they had about 7 or 8 corners after this.
Just do the same, that's all you wanted them to do. But everything got pulled out towards, but this was the one they should have tried to exploit all night. Without Militao in the team, they haven't got a huge amount of height in there, and Chelsea were by far the dominant team. They just couldn't get it right. This was a great head and an easy enough head and a lovely goal. And as soon as Chelsea scored the second, you thought they'll go on and score the third. Because Madrid didn't look as if they could get any type of grasp in the game. The fans were against them. So it was all Chelsea, and you were just waiting for it to go again. And the Alonso goal happens, and even when that happened, you thought Chelsea will come again.
Well, they did. Let's talk about this Alonso goal, because a few seasons ago, this isn't an issue. And I know that there's huge amounts of frustration from Chelsea fans across social media, but quite simply, the laws of the game now state whether it's intentional or not, and this absolutely was not intentional. If it just even brushes your hand, it's a disallowed goal.
Listen, I dislike it as much as all the Chelsea fans who would be upset about it, without a shadow of a doubt. But as soon as it happens and it brushed his right hand, it's going to be disallowed. Because the laws of the game are
the way the ball moves, really.
I hate this rule as well.
It's a terrible rule.
But you know that it was going to be disallowed, and particularly in this game, at this magnitude. But you know what? Beauty.
Lovely strike. And as well, I mean, I don't like it, like Mac, obviously very frustrating for me. But the rules are the rules, and you have to. But Chelsea went on again, like Mac said after this, and carried on in the same vein, and they got the third goal with Werner. And at that point, you could only see one winner.
I mean, it was at this point utter domination from Chelsea. Not only had Tuchel got his tactics right, but the players were delivering on the pitch.
Yeah, and we talked Timo Werner up after the weekend, scoring a couple of goals. Well, he hit the woodwork about 3 times as well. So he found a bit of confidence. And in this game today, he didn't look like a player who hadn't played many games over the last few months. Beautiful bit of composure here, bit of fortune as well. But I thought he was very, very bright today. And he came in and done, I'm sure, what Thomas Tuchel would have asked him to do. He stretched him, he was involved, he was busy, and he got his goal and he's got an assist.
It's a credit to him and his personality. He comes on and do this, because we see Lukaku come on in the first half of his lines, but this lad, no Chelsea fan will ever begrudge anything because he works his socks off. So he's well loved, he's respected at the club, and you know this was as good as I've seen him at times tonight in the Chelsea shirt. He was outstanding.
Well, you wouldn't begrudge him that at all, would you? The type of person he is. When you see him interviewed, he's had a lot of hard times, but always says the right things, positive attitude, and you're almost willing him to score. We mentioned before the game he could be the hero. He almost was. 3-0 up.
And then Rodrygo comes on. 2 minutes he was on the pitch, and he does this. I mean, it's again, giving the ball away here, can't have a sloppy pass. This pass from Luka Modric, I mean, that's why I lost my voice today, because I was screaming, Muka, whatever his name was.
Look at that.
Phenomenal.
He shouted at top of us, Muka Modric.
Muka Modric.
I mean, look at that. Yeah. You could watch that all day. Forget the goal. Forget the finish. It was just a pass.
No, it's illegal, that. Really.
36-and-a-half-year-old playing up 120 minutes, but also being, you know, one of the star men. When he plays, or Benzema plays, that's what normally happens. And one of the things, when I was looking at them, you see Casemiro, Kroos and Modric, older, you know, less mobile. But they need your Rodrigos of this world. They need your Valverdes of this world. They need Vinicius for that to happen. You know, so that's why I think the balance changed when he come on. He took his goal well, but just Modric having a runner to hit, and it was a beautiful pass, and that's what the quality players can do for you.
Talking of quality.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned before about Vinicius.
Pass, that pass.
Yeah, it's a sloppy pass, but he done well, Camavinga, when he came on. But this is the first time that you'd seen Vinicius running at anyone else other than James. But look at the next. Let's clip. It's not even this one. It's after this one, but it's a phenomenal pass. You know what I like about this is his patience. Yeah. He's patient here, waiting. And as you look at the next one, watch his eyes. All he's looking for is Benzema. Yeah. It's the only person he wants to pass his ball to.
Look at this movement, Ray.
Oh.
It's delightful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Beautiful. It's
unlucky of Rudiger, though, isn't it?
The movement does that to him, I think.
Every time I watch that from a wide man's perspective, the cross is sublime, because he's actually like a sandwich. He's just taken a little bit off of it. Needs to get his body shape right, head it back where it's come from, and Mendy had no chance.
And a lot of players there in that position there will take the easy option, smash it across the box. That's why I mean the composure and the patience that he showed there as a young player, Vinicius. I mean, that one moment he had in the game was the only moment he had, but he produced.
What a night. Full of drama, full of quality. And possibly the most quality moment of the night was that amazing ball from Luka Modric.
Luka Modric.
Yes, of course.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm getting too excited, man.
Luka Modric is with Des right now. Let's get his reaction. Des. Well, he was great tonight, and full of praise for Chelsea as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you said that about them, that they're the hardest team he's played against. So, but it's true what he says. We said it before, experience counts for so much at this stage. He's somebody who knows, he's lived and breathed at this level for years now and excelled. And you see, they go 3-0 down. Other teams would have capitulated and gone, do you know what, wave the white flag, we're out of here. We're on our knees. And he said we were dead in the game. But there's that experience again, and there's that know-how, and that just staying in, like the guys were speaking about at half-time and during the game, just staying in and around it. There's still an opportunity, and again, being decisive when that moment comes. They were that today.
And if they can be that in the next round, they may well be in another Champions League final. I mean, they're a team that find a way, no matter who the opposition is, so often.
Yes, they do, and it mirrors a bit of last season's where they beat Liverpool in the quarter-finals, when we all expected Liverpool probably to run all over them. They stumbled in the semi-final, well, Chelsea did, and beat them convincingly last year. You just wonder whether, listen, let's hope they play Manchester City. Again, you're wrong plenty of times. If they play Manchester City, you think Manchester City should have more than enough to beat them. That's what I would think. But this question, this lingering thing over your shoulder says it all the time. They always find a way. But I still think, you know, they've done remarkably well. The Spanish demise of the Spanish league, two teams in the semi-final already. And they've got one fighting tomorrow in Atletico Madrid, so we'll sit and wait.
Because whether it's quality they need or whether it's heart and spirit, they showed both at times.
Yeah, and they've got both. They're looking in that squad. Like I said, I think the last 30 minutes is going to... I think when Carlo Ancelotti goes over that with his team, he'll look at that and he'll think, he'll see the difference in his team, in the balance and the energy levels. With Camavinga, who come on, like Reece said, he was excellent. And he just, when you have you had that youthfulness around you, and you're Modric, you could dictate even more, because you can tell them what to do, go and press in there. They can do the running for it. Then Modric can get even more dominant. Like I said, and I don't think without the changes that they made, I don't think Modric is even in that position to deliver that pass. So I just, like Macca said, they're a team that is not as good as Man City, but they've got like a spirit or something within the club and within the personnel that know how to win games at this level, and you cannot discount that. I discounted that over the 2 legs. I thought Chelsea would win, and they proved me wrong. And
Real Madrid, the name Real Madrid, and the history they have in this competition stands for a lot as well. I mean, you can sense that in the stadium they have a belief. They almost like Mac will know better than anyone, but almost like there's a divine right to be getting to finals of this competition.
Did it feel like that when you were there?
Yeah. Because the history dictates that you get to a certain level, and if you're not in the final, you have to get to the semis. There's always pressure to get to a point. So you win 2 finals, and we lost 2 semi-finals as well. And one of those semi-finals, we thought we were the better team, and you came off the pitch like that, thinking, how's that just happened? Missed a penalty, what have we done? And then another time, actually it was Owen Hargreaves' team, beat us quite comfortably. And you sort of take that and go, you know what, they're the better team. And you're happy with that, but always the pressure is to get to the semis, the quarters. And if you get to the last 16 or get knocked out in the group stage,
I mean, this is
God
minimum
forbid,
for the
that
Real
never
Madrid
happens.
Fans, this is a minimum requirement.
Have a look at the stat packs that we get. Have a look how many times they qualify for the Champions League.
You read
and
those?
How far... What? I don't. It's all up here. I don't need to read it. But you know, they get to that position all the time. Through anyway. You know, remember this competition. The first game they lost to Sheriff Tiraspol. It was the first game they lost, and you thought, oh my God, it's finished. Now we're in the semi-finals.
And I think when you look at their team, when they line up or when they're in the tunnel, it counts for a lot. There's a team that's standing there going, "This is us. I'm comfortable with this. This is the norm for me." And you've got so many players within this team that have won multiple Champions League. They're not looking around thinking, "Oh, what's this about? What's it like to be here?
I'm nervous.
I've been here. This is like water for ducks back to me." And that counts for a certain amount in these games. It's not everything, but they're ticking certain boxes that do mean something.
Interesting stuff. Well, let's get some more reaction now. Antonio Rudiger had a mixed night, didn't he? He scored the goal, and then he lost his feet for the goal from Real Madrid later on that cost them their place in the Champions League. So let's get his reaction right now. He's talking to Des.
Tony, I know it's going to be hard to put that into words. What can you say after a game like that?
Yeah. The positive is we didn't give up. Not many teams can come here and dominate them as we did.
Yep.
Yeah, but the big but is over the 2 legs. If you make this type of mistakes that we do, you get punished.
You took control in the first half.
We found it. We got the goal, and we controlled. We didn't. I think we did it quite well, and in the second half, scored goals. We did everything we could, but as I said, over the 2 legs, if you do this type of mistakes, you get punished.
We could see how much it took out of you as the second half went on and their substitutions came in. But even then, you went again and you nearly rescued the game. You had some chances right at the death.
Yeah, it was a do or die for us, and I think before the game, not everybody thought that we will have a 3-0, and but then the individual class comes to light with Modric and Benzema, and now we are here.
Thanks, Tony.
Very honest, he said it was their mistakes that cost him, and there you go. If you take a look behind you guys, you can see what it meant to him, what it meant to the Chelsea players this evening.
It's emotional, man, and I don't think he'd necessarily want to react like that or see those pictures, but the feeling there, you can't control it. I mean, we've all been there after big games where I've said and done things that you think you regret, or you think that's not me, that's not my normal personality, but this is what football means to people.
You've got no problem with that, have you? Anger, upset.
That's someone who knows that they should have and could have done it.
You can imagine the range of emotions from us. I mean, Joe was more because he's got a link with Chelsea. But the range of emotions today was everything. Yeah. You're out the competition, 3-1 down. You're suddenly playing great and you're through to the next round, 3-0 up, and then that happens again. I mean, you can understand. No wonder Thomas Tuchel's grey and getting grey.
If you see changing rooms after games, I mean, imagine that changing room, there'll be things going flying. I mean, I kick walls. I end up kicking people at times. I got done at Chelsea kicking someone by accident. You don't mean it. You just lose your head, and you don't mean anything by it. But I like to see that because just emotion. There's a care and a desire to win, and they know what it means, how close they were.
Yeah, it's frustration. I think the job of Thomas Tuchel now, because these games, I know, regardless of whether it was like 90 minutes or into extra time, emotionally they take something out of you, they drain it. It takes you days to get over, like, because you're just so frustrated. So, like I said, Sunday's a massive game. Then the Chelsea have to get to a final. This team has to win trophies because they're set up to do it. So it has to galvanise this group because there's a lot of positives to take out of that performance. The result's dreadful, but the performance was fantastic.
OK, yeah. Next for Chelsea, just the small matter of an FA Cup semi-final this weekend. Right, we're going to take a quick break.
This contest, a fantastic game this evening, but it must hurt horribly to lose.
Yeah, always, but these are the kind of defeats that we can digest and swallow because we left nothing to regret out there. We left everything. We played what we wanted to play. We showed the quality and the character that this team has, and we deserve to go through. Was not meant to be today. We were simply unlucky. For the 90 minutes, unlucky today.
You were the champions, and you gave up the trophy today, but you did it with a lot of courage, did you? Right to the end.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, like I said, there's nothing to regret. We had a huge deficit to overcome because we did big mistakes in the first leg. Unfortunately, today also both goals come from big mistakes from us in the build-up, where we win the balls. Not even in the build-up. After ball wins, this is the most dangerous situation. To lose the ball after the ball win, and we did twice. Unfortunately, for the first goal in a situation where we can even start the counter-attack to score the fourth one, but yeah, they took advantage of the mistakes with individual quality, and that was enough because over the two legs we did too many of these big mistakes.
Thanks, Thomas. Thank you.
Look, we've had a good look at the handball. We've seen it more times than Thomas will have had the opportunity to. And even if you don't like the law is it touched his hand and the goal should have been disallowed. Do you think in the cold light of day he won't reflect so much on that and he'll reflect more on the missed chances for Chelsea?
Yeah, I think we all understand that he's frustrated about that. There's no problem about that. I mean, but if you get picky, you could say the corner where Rudiger scored from wasn't a corner. Yep. So I mean, you can't get into that. The thing is that they missed too many chances today, didn't they? Certainly had enough this evening. The Havertz one in extra time was a brilliant header. The Jorginho one, he snatched it at the end, was a brilliant. This is the one.
Oh, some pass.
He's a really good header of a ball, Havertz as well, isn't he?
Great ball from Reece James. You want it to fall to anyone's head there, it would have been Havertz. Unfortunately, just the wrong side of the post.
These were good chances, Joe.
They're good chances, Jake, and that was for a little bit by luck rather than something created. But the Havertz header, you expect them to eat them up, especially
the Lukaku header last week, mate, wasn't it?
Exactly
we gloss over that because it was a week ago, but 6 days ago. But that was a great chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that is the game, the tie in a nutshell. Real Madrid had Karim Benzema, a seasoned centre-forward number 9 that is just there. And Chelsea had 3 number 10s playing there, not quite as clinical, have other attributes. But if you had a player, what Lukaku was supposed to be that player, come in, we talked about the jigsaw, Benzema puts them chances away for Chelsea, Chelsea go through to the semi-final. I think that's the difference.
It's mad. I mean, a lot of young kids wouldn't necessarily be searching Karim Benzema to see, let's look at either way he plays. Yeah, they see his goals, but if they looked at the way that he plays, he's not a step-over merchant or someone who wants to do skills and get people off their seats. He has a level of efficiency throughout every aspect of his game. And I'd advise all young attacking players to watch the way this guy plays football, the movements, the subtle movements, for the goal today, the opposite movement with the defender that unnerves Rudiger, his hold-up play, bringing other people into game, how unselfish he is, his work rate. There's so many layers to his game, other than just the goals, that young players could feed off and learn from, that aren't the step-overs or the Instagram-friendly kind of show reels. So it's a great advert for the game, for young players. But like Tuchel said in his VT there was mistakes. They were punished from over both legs. And in these games, the big games, when you've got that and you've got decisive players on the opposition team, you get punished.
So where do they go from here? Well, they go to Wembley on Sunday for an FA Cup semi-final. If you're Patrick Vieira and Crystal Palace watching that, you're quite happy for them to go and play 120 minutes in a foreign country midweek, aren't you?
Absolutely, and whether they're going to travel home now, they're going to get home late, of course, or whether they stay in Madrid and come home tomorrow is another day gone. So yes, they're going to have to use their strength, and their strength has to just be to try and outrun them, because it has to take a physical effect on a lot of those players. Mentally, they must be exhausted after what's gone on. So they have to try and utilise that, and Chelsea, as Joe said before, have to come back stronger and show the right type of character and get to a final for their own fans. That's what they have to do. That's all you can do. When you're in the top three, you have to be successful, and Chelsea have to get there.
I think that for the weekend, I think Thomas Tuchel, there'll be lots of positives also to take from this game. Yeah. Bearing in mind how his comments were after the first leg to where it is today in terms of seeing so many positives. They went 3-0 up at the Bernabeu. Not many teams do that. So there are positives to take. They can take into the game at the weekend. I'm sure they will be drawing on those.
And he and his players will know that that's what this whole season comes down to. There's no silverware in the Champions League. There's no Premier League trophy. FA Cup or bust.
Yeah, and he knows that. He would be on no uncertain terms when he came into the club that is silverware where you're judged at Chelsea. You know, that's where the club's been at for the last 20-odd years. I think the way he's conducted himself, from how he sort of dealt with the poor performance in the first leg to how he got a team, adjusted it tactically. You know, I know there's uncertainty at Chelsea now, but whatever happens, the first thing whoever comes in should do is to sit down with Thomas Tuchel, because I still think he's the best. It's a big statement, but probably the best youngish manager in the world. I'm trying to put him, I don't want to really go.
You rewrote that while you were live on air.
As I'm saying it, I think Pep might have.
How old is youngish?
Yeah.
He's older than Pep. How old is he?
He's older than Pep.
He ain't older than Pep.
You know what?
Just younger.
It's a late one, guys.
It's 11:15.
Younger than
we'll
Pep.
Leave it there.
Younger than Pep and Jurgen.
He's the best manager in West London.
For Joe this evening.
Good shout, that one.
I like that one. I agree with Joe.
Yeah. I just love the fact that you can be youngish when you're 48. That's great. Yeah. And he's 3 years younger. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your company this evening. Go and have a lie down, Joe. We'll all go and have a rest. Mac, have a safe journey, and I'll see you here tomorrow night.
Same time.
Anfield tomorrow.
Wonderful. Oh, big one tomorrow evening. Let me just remind you what you've got actually tomorrow evening. We've got 2 of the 4 teams into the semi-finals this evening. So there we go. The first 2 sides through to the semi-finals. Tomorrow night we'll complete the set. Thanks for being with us.